British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Hello, my name is Lisa Cofton and it's your news update to 3:30 p.m. British Columbia's Green Party has released an election platform that's heavy on taxing the wealthy to support people's wellness. The first platform released by a major party for the fall BC election includes doubling existing property taxes rates and adding a new 2% tax on homes over $3 million. First to Know says a green government would in turn make investments such as $650 million annually in municipal infrastructure to support new housing and $250 million to expand childcare. The platform also includes 18% proposed tax for corporate profit over $1 billion. BC Conservatives leader John Rostad has unveiled his vision for powering the province with what they describe as affordable and independent energy. Rostad says his party will reverse the New Democratic Party's plan to ban natural gas and heating and non-electric vehicles. He also says his party will support alternative energy sources, only when the projects make practical. September 30th, Truth and Reconciliation Day gives residential school survivors an opportunity to heal from the injustices they have been subjected to. As Zach Robko explains, survivors sharing healing stories is a gradual process, not refined to one day.
Residential school survivors use Orange Shirt Day as an opportunity to share their truth and highlight their healing process. At Semiamu's annual Walk for Truth and Reconciliation, Chief Harley Chappell brought elders to the stage for a moment of prayer and to recognize their past trauma. Chappell says his nation's ancestors are resilient and beginning to open up.
The thing about our ancestors that I was always told is that we don't find them. They reveal themselves to us. They reveal themselves to us when we're ready to hear what they got to say.
Chappell adds that rationalizing the atrocities of residential schools has been hard to grasp for his community. Sharing Semiamu's culture, foods, and songs helps all of them heal. Zach Robko, BCIT's The Crow.
And we are now joined by our reporter Zach Robko. Zach, you were at the Semiamu Walk on Monday. Can you please tell me more about how residential school survivors were honored?
Yeah, so firstly, thank you for having me, Lisa. At the event, Chief Chappell, he brought anybody who was willing to admit they were a residential school survivor onto the stage for a moment of prayer and a celebration of their stories, their lives, and their ability to keep going after witnessing such traumas like that.
Yeah, did the elders say anything else about advancing Indigenous reconciliation?
Yes, they did. There was a keynote speech given by a former Lieutenant Governor in British Columbia, Grand Chief Stephen Point, and he spoke about how much he's seen reconciliation evolve just within his immediate family's life cycle. His grandfather was born in 1867 and lived to be 100 years old in 1967, from witnessing the beginning of the Indian Act to the century mark of the country. And even in his life as a 73-year-old man, he's seen waves and bounds of reconciliation progress that he would have never imagined. Seeing events and holidays at the scale that it is now has given him a lot of faith to think that it can keep progressing forward.
That's so interesting to hear. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Today at BCIT, nursing students are doing a sexual health and HPV awareness post on campus. The students running it say they want to destigmatize talks surrounding sexually transmitted infections. Isabella Calisi has more.
According to Action Canada for Sexual Health and Rights, 75% of adults will have at least one type of HPV in their lifetime. Sophia Rizzo is part of a group of BCIT nursing students that are running a sexual health awareness booth on campus. She says that when it comes to STIs, people tend to clam up about the topic and hope that it'll just go away.
Like, they'll just go away with time, and you just kind of keep it to yourself. Don't tell anybody, they'll go away. They won't. You have to get tested to make sure if you have them or not, and then get medication, because that's going to stop the spread, and then you can keep everybody safe, and you can keep yourself safe and healthy.
Rizzo says that many STIs don't show symptoms, so it's important to get tested. Isabella Calisi, BCIT's The Crow.
BC has the lowest fertility rate in Canada. Our reporter Filip Kovacevic spoke to a medical professional about potential reasons.
Stats Canada said in 2023 that for the second year in a row, Canada reached a record low in fertility rate. Fertility rate is the number of children per woman. While the number of births stayed the same, one reason for lower rates is the increase of women who can give birth. Dr. Justine Spencer spoke about another reason for lower fertility.
Age is probably the most common reason I've seen people reach out for help.
Filip Kovacevic, BCIT's The Crow.
Ontario, Quebec, and Nunavut will offer antibody injections to all newborns and infants to protect them from respiratory syncytial virus this winter. Women's College Hospital physician Dr. Noah Ivers remembers when his own baby had to be hospitalized with severe RSV illness several years ago.
As a family doc, and also as a parent who's been through this, if there's something you can do to prevent your kid becoming short of breath, and you watching them with their ribs heaving in and out, and you watching them needing to get an oxygen mask, like, if there's something simple in your power to do that, please, take advantage of it.
According to Immunize BC, these medicines are currently only available for select groups on infants and children in the province. Patients should talk to their healthcare provider for more information. Updates on Middle East tensions now. Iran launched at least 180 missiles into Israel today, the latest in series of escalating attacks in a year-long conflict between Israel and Iran. Speaking to reporters, U.S. President Joe Biden says America is fully supportive of Israel.
At my direction, the United States military actively supported the defense of Israel, and we're still assessing the impact. But based on what we know now, the attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective.
Israel and Iran have fought a shadow war for years, but rarely they have come into direct conflict. A spokesman for Israel's military says they are in the clear for now after Iran launched missile strike into Israel. The missile strikes are in retaliation for the killing of Hezbollah and Hamas leaders. ABC's Matt Gottman has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Typically what has been happening in the previous attacks, like the one against Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah in Lebanon last week, the IDF presents a series of options to the government. The cabinet sits over it, and then they decide what to do. That's what also happened with last night's incursion into Lebanon. So the plans are on the table. The question is, how far does the Israeli government want to take this?
The Israeli military earlier warned several thousand Lebanese communities near the border to leave their homes shortly after starting that it's called a limited ground operation against Hezbollah targets. Today, Ukraine marks its National Defenders Day. Maple Hope Foundation invites Vancouverties to a rally near Jack Paul Plaza today at 6:30 p.m. In their post on Instagram, they stated, "Join us as we come together to honor our defenders and show our solidarity." It's been over 2.5 years since Russian invasion of Ukraine. Today, Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, stopped for a minute to honor fallen heroes. People carried portraits of loved ones who died fighting with Russian aggression. Talking about the weather today. It's going to be sunny today in the evening. The temperature feels like 11 degrees. The wind speed is 9 kilometers per hour, and hopefully we will see some more sun this weekend. Another story for today is a Houston lawyer says he is representing 120 people who are accusing musician Sean Diddy Combs of sexual misconduct. Entertainment Reports' Margie Zarolita has the latest.
Lawyer Tony Busby says half the people he represents who claim to be victims of Sean Diddy Combs are male, and 25 were minors, with the youngest being 9 years old at the time of the alleged incident. Busby says the first of the lawsuits will be filed within a month, and they will name defendants besides Combs.
The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Combs attorney Erica Wolf says in a statement, Combs denies as false and defamatory any claim that he abused anyone, including minors. He is currently jailed in New York on federal
Stay tuned
sex
for more
trafficking
on
charges.
BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and here are your sports headlines to 3:45. Today marks the first day of the Major League Baseball playoffs with 4 games on the schedule. The Brewers are in action, taking on the Mets. Following a fast start by the Brewers, the Mets stormed back to take the lead in the top of the second.
The kick to 3-1. Line drive center field, chasing back Mitchell, gets turned around, reaches up and he makes the catch. Winker tags and he'll come in to score, and just like that, the Mets had the lead.
Well, any hitter at this moment.
Still to come, the Atlanta Braves face off against the San Diego Padres. The Detroit Lions defeated the Houston Astros 3-1. Matt Verling scored a single to put the Tigers up 3-0 in the top of the second.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. And another base hit up the middle. Verling with a single. Scoring as Roger Sweeney stops at second, and it is 3-0 Tigers.
The Kansas City Royals are in Baltimore taking on the Orioles. Bobby Witt Jr. with a base drive in the top of the 6th helped Kansas secure the 1-0 win.
There for a while, so he had to sharpen some things up. In the hole, base hit, Bobby Witt Jr. drives in the first run of the postseason. Garcia in from third.
The Vancouver Canucks have made a series of roster cuts ahead of the team's final preseason game. The team reassigned 9 players to the AHL, including forward Jonathan Lekkerimäki and defenseman Elias Pettersson. Additionally, the team placed 4 players on waivers for the purpose of assignment to the AHL, including forward Phil DiGiuseppe and defenseman Kristen Wolanin. The Canucks begin the regular season on October 9th against the Calgary Flames. The Montreal Canadiens announced a series of injury updates on Tuesday. Canadiens rookie David Reinbacher will miss the next 5 to 6 months following surgery to his left knee. Patrick Laine will miss 2 to 3 months with a sprained left knee, the team announced on X. The Abbotsford Canucks are set to open their training camp on October 2nd. Training camp will go until October 5th and will feature a full team scrimmage. At the conclusion of training camp, fans will have the opportunity to meet with Abbotsford Canucks players. Now to soccer. The Vancouver Whitecaps girls Elite welcome San Diego FC to BC Place as they kick off their CONCACAF Champions Cup campaign today. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Whitecaps midfield Josie Longhurst says the team looks forward to the match.
Everyone's buzzing. I think it's a huge opportunity for everyone on the team, and to be at home, especially for this game, and show like what BC is about and things like that. So yeah, I think everyone's really excited.
In Champions League action, Manchester City defeated Slovan Bratislava 4-0. Ilkay Gundogan scored in the 8th minute to give Man City the lead, followed by Phil Foden in the 15th minute. Erling Haaland subbed off in the 60th minute after securing the win for City. Now to London, where Arsenal is taking on Paris Saint-Germain. A 36-minute goal from Bukayo Saka is the difference maker as Arsenal defeats PSG 2-0. The Whitecaps are set to take on the Seattle Sounders tomorrow night. Their Pacific rivals stand in the way of the Whitecaps becoming back-to-back Cascadia Cup champions for the first time since 2014. The Whitecaps also have a chance to move up the Western Conference standings with a win, which will play a crucial part in determining playoff positioning. With the playoffs on the line and only 2 regular season games remaining, Toronto FC coach John Herdman is focused on the controllable.
Just one game at a time, take what's in front of you, control what we can, which is 2 great opportunities at home. That's what we've been saying to the players, put everything here. Don't leak any energy on anything else other than what you influence.
The Las Vegas Aces hope to tie up the series as they head to New York to take on the Liberty for Game 2. The Liberty defeated the Aces 87-77 in Game 1. The Aces will look to slow down Liberty power forward Brianna Stewart, who recorded 34 points in Game 1. The Connecticut Sun look to take a 2-0 lead in their playoff series against the Minnesota Lynx. The Sun narrowly defeated the Lynx 73-70 in Game 1, largely thanks to 20 points from Marina Mabrey. Toronto Raptors star Scotty Barnes did not travel with the team to Montreal due to personal reasons. Barnes is expected to miss the start of training camp. The Raptors open camp on Tuesday morning. The team will take on the Washington Wizards at the Bell Center on Sunday in a preseason matchup. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and that has been your sports update to 3:45. As the NHL preseason winds down, a blaring issue has arisen: injuries. Multiple teams have had key players suffer injuries during the preseason, most notably Drew Doughty of the LA Kings, Patrick Laine and David Reinbacher of the Montreal Canadiens, and Ryan Lindgren of the New York Rangers. In my opinion, the NHL needs to shorten its preseason. 6 games is simply too long, and with each game the chance of a player getting injured increases. A 4-game preseason would be ideal, giving each team enough time to showcase different players and make roster adjustments without severely risking injury to any key players. Some may argue that cutting the preseason from 6 games to 4 games would not allow for young players to have enough of a chance to prove themselves. To those people, I would say 2 words: training camp. Training camp gives an ample opportunity for coaching staff to analyze both young players and players on PTOs and make decisions on whether they fit in with the roster. In addition to the 4 preseason games, I believe players would have enough of a chance to prove themselves at training camp without risking injury. I'm Ethan Van Dopp, and that was today's Sports Comment.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT